debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finance.
Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is once again at the center of controversy. This time, the stakes are higher than ever, as reports suggest she attempted to bribe a federal investigator in a desperate bid to avoid mounting legal troubles. Allegations of bribing a federal official mark a new low for Henyard, whose career is already marred by scandal. The very notion that she would resort to such an extreme measure paints a disturbing picture of her willingness to go to any length to escape accountability. This latest development is just another chapter in a long-running saga of corruption and misconduct that has plagued her tenure. Initially, suspicions of financial mismanagement surrounded Henyard, but they have now evolved into a full-blown federal investigation. What started as isolated concerns has grown into a systemic corruption probe, exposing a pattern of unethical behavior. As her reputation continues to deteriorate, the bribery allegations may be the tipping point that ultimately ends her political career. Once celebrated for her rise to power, Henyard's tenure has been riddled with controversies. She has faced accusations of embezzling taxpayer funds, hosting extravagant parties using public money, and engaging in questionable business dealings. However, the alleged bribery attempt signals an even more desperate move, suggesting she may be willing to risk everything to stay in power. If convicted, it could deal the final blow to her already crumbling empire. Under Henyard's leadership, Dalton has suffered a series of financial crises. Lavish trips, excessive spending, and unexplained payments have raised concerns about widespread corruption. Reports indicate that she has treated the town's finances as her personal piggy bank, leading federal investigators to scrutinize every aspect of her administration's financial activities. The findings so far suggest systemic corruption, further fueling the perception that her time in office has been defined by self-interest rather than public service. Despite mounting evidence, Henyard has denied any wrongdoing, dismissing the investigation as a politically motivated smear campaign. However, critics argue that her denials lack credibility, especially as more revelations about financial misconduct and abuse of power emerge. The empire she built, characterized by extravagant spending, dubious alliances, and a harsh crackdown on critics, is now unraveling under federal scrutiny. Henyard initially positioned herself as a transformative leader with ambitious plans to revitalize Dalton and enhance social programs. However, those promises quickly crumbled as reports of financial chaos, unexplained deficits, and excessive personal expenditures surfaced. Now, the residents of Dalton face the harsh reality that their mayor may have prioritized her own interests over the well-being of the community. As the investigation deepens, even Henyard's closest allies are being drawn into the controversy. Keith Freeman, once a staunch supporter, is reportedly distancing himself from the embattled mayor, raising further questions about the extent of corruption within her administration. Meanwhile, the FBI remains relentless in its probe, uncovering not only financial misconduct, but also a culture of intimidation and retribution under Henyard's leadership. Reports suggest that those who dared to challenge Henyard's authority faced swift and severe consequences, from revoked business licenses to unjust terminations. This created an atmosphere of fear and distrust within the town, further solidifying the perception that her leadership was built on coercion rather than genuine service. As the scandal unfolds, one thing is clear: Tiffany Henyard's once promising political career is in jeopardy. With federal investigators closing in, the future looks uncertain for the self-proclaimed super mayor and for the town of Dalton, which is left to grapple with the consequences of her leadership. Employees have come forward with lawsuits alleging wrongful dismissal for refusing to participate in questionable activities. These revelations have further tarnished Henyard's image and reputation. Perhaps the most egregious example of Henyard's misuse of public funds comes in the form of lavish spending. While Dalton faces a multi-million-dollar deficit, the mayor reportedly spent public money on exotic trips, designer shopping sprees, and extravagant entertainment. These expenses stand in stark contrast to the town's financial struggles and have left residents outraged. Once hopeful that Henyard could bring about positive change, the people of Dalton are now demanding accountability and justice. Despite the growing evidence against her, Henyard continues to publicly defend herself, framing the investigation as a coordinated effort to damage her reputation. At recent public meetings, she has doubled down on her claims of innocence, even suggesting that she is being targeted for challenging traditional leadership norms and breaking the status quo. However, her increasingly erratic behavior has done little to inspire confidence. Instead, her attempts to deflect blame have only deepened skepticism about her administration's ability to lead. As the investigation into Henyard's actions continues, it is clear that her tenure as mayor is spiraling toward an inevitable downfall. With mounting evidence of corruption, financial mismanagement, and now an alleged bribery attempt, the once promising career of Tiffany Henyard may soon come to a dramatic and scandalous end.
Is it the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is facing intense scrutiny from the FBI, which is currently investigating her financial transactions from the past year. Investigators are examining whether she has been accepting kickbacks or outright misappropriating taxpayer funds for personal gain. The list of charges and allegations against Henyard continues to grow, with rumors swirling about her reckless misuse of public money. The mayor's lavish lifestyle, characterized by extravagant spending on unnecessary events and personal indulgences, has put her in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Henyard has been accused of using public funds to support her extravagant lifestyle, including hosting private concerts with R&B artists, indulging in fine dining, traveling first class, and even renting bounce houses for poorly attended town events. Despite Dalton's multi-million-dollar deficit, Henyard has seemingly lived a life of luxury, funded by the hard-earned taxpayer money of residents who once trusted her to lead the town out of financial hardship. Instead of alleviating the town's struggles, her choices have only exacerbated the situation, leading to growing resentment among Dalton's residents. Many now view their mayor as a symbol of corruption rather than an effective leader. The FBI's investigation has delved deep into her financial activities, seeking to uncover the full extent of any potential misconduct. As scrutiny intensifies, the future of Henyard's political career remains uncertain, with many speculating that her downfall may be imminent. Taxpayer money was diverted to support Henyard's extravagant lifestyle rather than benefiting the community. Reports indicate that tens of thousands of dollars were spent on items and events that provided little to no value to Dalton's struggling population. Expensive town events, often poorly attended and deemed unnecessary, were paired with lavish meals and high-end rentals, all funded by public money. Henyard's preference for first-class accommodations on trips, along with her penchant for personal luxuries like private performances, has raised serious concerns about her true motives and integrity. These spending habits suggest a leader more focused on self-enrichment than public service. Henyard's actions starkly contrast with Dalton's financial struggles, where the town faces a massive deficit exacerbated by her alleged misuse of public funds. Many residents and local officials are outraged and feel betrayed by the mayor's behavior, seeing it as a violation of the trust placed in her. Under Henyard's leadership, essential programs, infrastructure projects, and public services have all suffered due to mismanaged resources. The town's dire financial state is a glaring contradiction to the luxury Henyard has allegedly enjoyed at its expense. This disparity has only fueled the ongoing FBI investigation and heightened public scrutiny. Many now wonder just how deep the corruption runs as federal investigators closely examine Henyard's financial records. The investigation seeks to determine whether her reckless spending was due to poor judgment or part of more sinister financial schemes, such as kickbacks or outright embezzlement. The mounting evidence casts a long shadow over Henyard's tenure as mayor, further eroding any trust the community once had in her leadership. If the allegations are proven true, she could face serious legal consequences, including the possibility of prison time, marking a grim end to what once seemed like a promising political career. What makes Henyard's actions even more egregious is the context of her leadership. She was elected to address Dalton's pressing issues, including economic revitalization and infrastructure improvements. Instead, her tenure has been defined by allegations of corruption, irresponsible governance, and personal indulgence. By prioritizing her own desires over the community's needs, Henyard has demonstrated how power can be abused at the expense of those it is meant to serve. The allegations against Henyard extend beyond reckless spending. They suggest a deeper pattern of unethical behavior, potentially involving kickbacks and the exploitation of her position for personal gain. The fallout from these revelations has been severe. Residents who once saw Henyard as a symbol of hope and change now view her as the root cause of their town's worsening financial crisis. Her actions have led to widespread distrust in local government, with many questioning how such mismanagement was allowed to persist for so long. As Dalton's financial situation deteriorates, state and federal officials have stepped in, freezing funds and initiating audits to assess the full extent of the damage. Community members are demanding accountability, seeking answers about where their hard-earned tax dollars have gone. Henyard, however, continues to deny any wrongdoing, framing the investigation as political persecution. But the mounting evidence, uncovered by investigators, tells a different story, one that portrays her actions as not just reckless, but indicative of a deep and damaging abuse of power.
As the supervisor, there will be no comments, there will be anything that is unique.
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is facing serious accusations amid growing financial turmoil in the town. Allegedly drowning in debt, Henyard has been accused of spending tens of thousands of dollars on entertainment, including a reported $40,000 Amazon shopping spree in a single day. However, this reckless behavior is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to her financial misconduct. Under her leadership, Dalton's finances have spiraled out of control, leaving the town with a staggering deficit. The situation has become so dire that former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was called in to investigate Dalton's financial disarray. Lightfoot's initial findings have been nothing short of shocking. Once known for having a relatively strong budget, Dalton now finds itself facing a $4 million deficit, a sharp decline since Henyard took office. This dramatic shift in Dalton's financial health underscores the reckless and unsustainable leadership she has provided. Her decisions, coupled with her lavish lifestyle, have left the town in economic ruin, but the problems run even deeper. Federal investigations are reportedly underway, with the FBI scrutinizing various financial practices, including allegations of kickbacks. One of the most alarming claims is that Henyard has been using taxpayer money to elevate her own public profile. Reports suggest she has plastered her face on eye-catching advertisements and billboards throughout Dalton, possibly in an attempt to boost her image at the expense of the very people she was elected to serve. Perhaps the most audacious example of Henyard's misuse of public funds was the infamous $85,000 party, which she claimed was meant to bring attention to the town. However, the event was a complete failure and widely regarded as a monumental waste of taxpayer money. It epitomized Henyard's penchant for reckless overspending, further cementing her reputation as a leader who prioritized personal interests and vanity projects over the well-being of Dalton's residents. The community's frustration with Henyard's leadership continues to grow, with many residents now questioning how she allowed Dalton's finances to deteriorate so dramatically while indulging in luxurious expenditures. The ongoing investigations serve as a harsh reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and financial mismanagement, which can devastate a community. The people of Dalton are left wondering how a public servant could betray their trust to such an extent. Henyard's extravagant lifestyle, wasteful spending, and possible ethical violations have now caught up with her. As the web of financial mismanagement unravels, the full scope of her alleged actions could lead to serious legal consequences. The mayor's once promising leadership, which was supposed to guide Dalton toward a brighter future, has instead played a key role in one of the town's most significant financial disasters. This story is far from over, and the questions surrounding Henyard's behavior continue to haunt Dalton. The town's residents are demanding accountability, with many hoping for a rebuilding of Dalton's damaged reputation. The fallout from this scandal has yet to reach its conclusion, but one thing is clear: Henyard's leadership, clouded by excess and controversy, will leave a lasting impact on Dalton for years to come. The latest developments indicate that this story is still unfolding, and its resolution could change the course of Dalton's future forever.